I know I'm a little bit later so, but I kind of wanted to see I wanted to see the conclusion or so cuz like I wanted to upload specifically the Taiga situation and like the other shit, right? But Black Myth Wukong kind of, came in or so and then other shit kind of got distracted or so I kind of completely forgot about it or so. But I do want to take a look at it specifically. So apparently Mr. Nooks Taco responded or so um to the situation, I guess, question mark, but I'm not too sure specifically. um yeah, I know it's later so, but I kind of want to see what he actually what Mr. Nooks had to respond. Actually, I'm curious. I'm very curious of what Mr. Nooks had to respond specifically on it, so let's take a look at it, shall we? I'm kind of curious specifically on it, so
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today this is going to be a bit of a React Andy video where we're going to look at Nux Taku's latest response to the Taiga situation. This is, I believe, the 5th or 6th attempted apology regarding
wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? Why so many apologies? What?
Taiga. Now, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I know a lot of you guys are interested in what's going on here and any updates regarding this situation involving Taiga and by proxy, Nux Taku's involvement with that. And today we have another response from Nux, a much more direct response than we've seen. And we're going to take a look at that. But before we get into things, if you want the full breakdown of everything, you can look at my previous 2 videos. It's much more in depth. But today we're just going to check out the latest response. And to give you a very quick rundown of the timeline here before we start, essentially a couple years ago, a VTuber by the name of Taiga was facing a series of allegations. Shortly after that, Nux Taku in a video with Moist Critical would make a statement about Taiga, making defamatory remarks.
I don't know. He's using it for the thumbnail or so.
Comment saying
it's because MXR Plays got his YouTube accounts like banned off YouTube. So yeah,
we'll adjust things
if I remember that correctly.
If he finds anything from an investigation that was currently taking place involving those allegations facing Taiga. A few months after that, Taiga was exonerated of all those claims by an independent investigator. And then after that, we wouldn't hear from Nux for about a year and a half until he mentioned vaguely what was going on in a video on the Some Ordinary podcast channel. And then recently we've heard multiple responses from Nux on Kick, because recently Taiga...
Wait, he's on Kick? Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Was removed from several platforms, but on Twitch, Taiga's been talking about everything that's been happening to him, including Nux's role in some of the harassment that Taiga has been facing over the years. So now we have this response right here. You can see it actually has Taiga in the thumbnail. It says, awful situation. So a lot of people looked at this and said, wow, this is a dedicated Taiga video. But if you click on it, you notice that the first time Taiga is mentioned is 18 minutes into the video, which a lot of people are critical of because...
Dude, why didn't you just make a video just talking about the situation? I don't understand. It's not fucking rocket science, bro. Like, why are you tiptoeing around the situation itself, bro? Just sit down and make a video. Fuck, man. Shit, if I made a mistake or something in my VTuber career, of course I'm gonna make a follow-up video, be like, hey, sorry about that, I didn't mean to because I didn't get too much information about the situation itself, about this man, or this VTuber getting allegations or so, so that's my apology, that's my bad, shit. God, dude, what the fuck? Just take accountability. Fuck, shit, man, fuck.
In the past attempts at an apology, people were critical of the fact that there was no standalone video and that Nux was responding or talking about Taiga deep into videos that weren't even relevant to Taiga in the first place, whether it was on...
Man, I don't give a fuck. I'd rather, I'd rather fucking take care of my credibility and my fucking, just the credibility or so from other people or so, and the criticism or so besides money, bro. It ain't that fucking deep, bro.
The Some Ordinary podcast episode where it was about Mama Max and he talked about Taiga for about a minute, 20 minutes into the video, or in the recent Kick streams where he was talking about Taiga 30, 40, 50 minutes into a stream about a totally different topic. However, this time, yes, it is later in the video, but at least it is relevant to what's going on. So basically this video is talking about the unfair treatment of VTubers and gives several examples and eventually concludes with Taiga. Now, I think it is relevant. There's definitely a lot of bad things going on with VTubers.
There's a point to care about the bag of money, and then there's a point to care about your fucking credibility or so. You know, that's just in your reputation on the line, so.
Especially how they're treated very unfairly by various platforms. But let's hear what Nux has to say about not only Taiga, but also these other topics I just mentioned.
Now, finally, I would like to address the elephant in the room. I want to talk about the very wrongful termination of Bungo Taiga's YouTube channel and why I think spreading the word for him to get reinstated is very important. First, we must talk backstory. In July 2022, Taiga was accused of grooming, pedophilia, abusing his mods, racism, transphobia, asking for the lewds of a 17-year-old when he was 19, and commissioning Shota Hentai, which is lolly porn of little.
Okay. I know this is a hot take or anything like that, right? Right? So apparently what he just said just now, right, is that he was 19 years old and then someone was 17 years old. Is it bad? Yes. But is it that crazily bad? No. It's just kind of like, you know, it's just kind of like, it's like 2 years difference. Now, if it was like 5 years or 4 year difference, yeah, that kind of is a little bit weird in my personal opinion, but you know, so I don't know. Like I said, I've seen like middle schoolers date high schoolers, so I'm like, meh, you know. Of course, I wouldn't approve my daughter dating a high schooler, of course, you know, because it's you know, why are you dating this older dude, huh? That's just my personal thing, but you know, there's just some people that just do it or so. I'm just like, well, that's them, you know. They do what they gotta do, you know. They do what they do. For me, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, as long as it doesn't bother me, you know, it's a-okay for, so yeah.
Anime boys and being inappropriate with his community in regards to the Shota stuff. Now,
So that is the accusations that Taiga was facing. This is before Nux spoke.
I'm gonna be honest with you, those are some wild ass allegations, to be honest. Those are pretty crazy allegations.
That was what Taiga was facing. We know later he'd be exonerated of these claims, but that's what was going on at the moment.
This isn't a Bungo Taiga video. I'm just trying to set the stage so you understand basically the story here. But after these accusations dropped, Taiga left the internet for about 5 months, and
Again, I've talked about this in other videos. This is the frustrating part of Nux's responses. He continues to get very basic information wrong. Taiga did not leave the internet for 5 months after these allegations were made. They kept streaming, they kept making content. It was a 5-month break that took place in 2024 when Taiga attempted his own life. That was at the beginning of this year. So that 5-month break has...
Holy shit, dude. Holy, okay, all right. Damn, I did not know. Granted, of course, I was... damn, dude. I didn't even hear about this, to be frankly honest.
Nothing to do. It didn't happen back then. So it's very frustrating to see that still being claimed over and over again. It's been claimed by Nux like 4 or 5 times at this point in recent times.
I was on a video with Charlie where we were talking about corporate VTuber drama, like the HoloLive dramas and the Niji dramas before the Niji dramas really went new.
I'm hoping Taiga's doing well. That's all I really care about. I hope Taiga's doing well. Much love for Taiga, you know, shit. Much love. Hopefully, you know, he's in a better place now, so. As in, like, mentally. As in mentally, okay, alright? I know some people fucking take that shit out of his fucking context.
And when he asked me about Taiga, I said, I don't know the full story, but apparently he's a pedo.
He also said that he allegedly groomed the supposed victim in that situation, who ended up being the harasser, but that's just a detail I want to add in there.
Wildly irresponsible making a claim like that, as there was not sufficient evidence for that. The DMs that were leaked were not of that. And 2 months later, Taiga was exonerated of the grooming allegations by a private eye that he hired, and
Again, this is like maybe the 3rd or 4th time he's made that false claim. Taiga did not hire the investigator. The investigator was an independent investigator who saw this situation and went into it thinking Taiga was guilty. They were trying to amass a document that would show Taiga's guilt. However, after they looked through the evidence, they realized this was wrong. Taiga not only was not the monster that they were portraying him as in these allegations, Taiga was actually the victim of this situation, where the people making these allegations were not only being malicious and trying to lie, they were also doing it to specifically harm Taiga and his reputation.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, to be honest. Like what kind of grudge or vendetta do you have against Taiga for you to do these kinds of things? This is one of the reasons why I keep everyone at like super arm's length at everybody. Like it is hard for people to come into my inner circle because of this situation. This is one of the big problems that I have about the VTuber scene, right? Because I just saw, because I opened up Twitter, right? And then I saw a note or so specifically that someone was kind of like basically like they don't want to be associated with the VTuber community because of the, because there's a lot of fucking deceitful people, It's just the problem is there's just a lot of people who just jump on the bandwagon or so of like being a VTuber, because it's like the new hot trend, it's like the being, just being, just joining popularity shit, trying to get that piece of the pie, This is one of the reasons why I just don't even bother. I don't bother collabing with people from Twitter, so I don't bother collabing with like socializing or trying to like reach out to somebody like that or anything like that. Nah, man, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna grind, make videos, or try to make videos anyways. I know I'm working on a video or so for Woo-Wah, but it's taking a little bit longer for me though. And then like whatever other things I come up with for ideas. So, but yeah, nonetheless though, jeez, dude. I will never collab with like I'll never like ask someone on Twitter for collaboration. You know how like because like in the VTuber space, right? There's always this like weird trend or so like they have like their VTuber and like sometimes they'll have like their bio or so, and then they say they have games that they play and then games that are interested in, and then that they're interested I want to play with friends or something like that, right? And then they'll get like a bunch of response or so from other people or so. I'm just like, I don't really do that personally. I think the only thing I really do when it comes to like anything VTuber related, I did it back then because it was pretty fun or so. I just did it because it was fun. Like that's pretty much about it. I just kind of liked it or so. It was kind of funny or so to kind of watch the people's reactions or so. It was a what is it? It was a tier list or so for Smash or Pass or so. For VTuber, like they had a tier list specifically. If like they would like the top one would be Smash, and then the bottom one would be like head pats or something like that. So I joined in a couple of those. I think like 4, maybe 5 or 3 or something like that, somewhere around there. So that's the only thing that I did or so specifically related to that. But it wasn't really like I wasn't gonna try to get something out of it at the end of the day. I just thought it was pretty stupid or something fun to do, and that's pretty much about it. So.
Huge fuck up. Without hyperbole, this was the biggest mistake of my career, and I am deeply, deeply sorry for spreading misinformation and for causing any undue hate to be sent Taiga's way. I am sorry for how I handled that. I'm sorry for how I said it. I have tried to do better since then, and I will continue to try to do better in the future. Anywho, I immediately apologized to Taiga privately, as well as cut that portion out of the video. I added a pinned comment explaining my...
So, again, I don't know if this was intentional, but this is another mistake in the timeline. Like, it is frustrating to believe that he still doesn't understand the timeline of events. He is showing this pinned comment on the video as if this was made after Taiga was exonerated. But this was made before the exoneration was made. And you can see the edits. The edits that happened to this don't refer to the investigation being over. In fact, you can see boldly, it says there's a private investigator working on this. So it was still active when he made this pinned comment, and none of the edits would clarify that. So if he's trying to phrase this whole thing as he made the pinned comment after the exoneration, that is not true. He did not.
I also personally apologize to reach out to Taiga for his side and discussed my plan going forward with him. I hope the truth comes out, be it guilty or innocent, and I intend to set the record straight in the future when I understand the situation better. Taiga informed me that there's a private investigation private investigator working on this with the police. Yeah, this was before the this was definitely before he, yeah, you can tell automatically that this was before he was exonerated, that he was innocent. So
not make any changes to the pinned comment after the exoneration was made. In fact, the next time we would hear about it was nearly a year and a half later with the Some Ordinary podcast episode, which I think he's going to mention next.
Mistake. I also apologized again publicly on our podcast in the first 10 minutes of an episode, which, by the way, got way more views than the video where I originally peddled the false allegation. Maybe not
So, again, he's made the same weird claim multiple times. He keeps saying over and over again, the Some Ordinary podcast episode has more views than the original video where he collabed with Charlie and said those things about Taiga. It's not true. They have the exact same number of views. I showed this in my previous video. They are sitting within often 1,000 views of each other. And also, even if the podcast had more views, it still got 350,000 views, the original video where he said these things about Taiga. And by the time there was even a pinned comment added, it already had hundreds of thousands of views. Like, the damage was done. So going back to this point for like the fourth.
Yeah, and even then on top of that specifically, right? When it comes to podcasts, right? Depending how long the podcast is, right? I don't know. I really don't know how long the podcast is. The podcast with Nux and Some Ordinary Gamer, right? That specifically that some people just don't watch the entire full podcast sometimes, you know. Sometimes they'll stop at like 25 minutes and then they'll move on, and then, you know, there's an analytic or so that shows you like the average people like that watch like a certain percentage or so on the video. So they'll say, be like, oh, these people watched it for like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then they'll click off and go look at something else. So sometimes it's because sometimes they don't watch the full entire thing. Like, there's a lot of people that don't do it. So it doesn't really mean just because it has a lot of numbers, you know. Sometimes they don't see the entire video to the end, you know, or listen to the podcast the entire way or so, unless they're like doing something or so, you know, like working or something, you know.
Fourth or fifth time is frustrating to see. He's trying to downplay the effect of that original video.
My streams are shit. What are you talking about?
Don't try to downplay what happened here, but
wise, but relevancy-wise, the Some Ordinary podcast was my biggest platform. I'll play the clip here because somehow people don't know this exists, and I
think some people don't.
Yeah, that's also pretty true as well. They just kind of want the juicy bits sometimes when it comes to the podcast stuff. That's why though sometimes in some podcasts, like down here specifically, they'll have like timestamps or so for some of the podcasts, right? They'll have timestamps specifically for some of the you know, for some of the stuff or so, for where you want to go, for what part you want to talk about, you know. So
know this exists because it's buried not 10 but 20 minutes into a random episode on your Some Ordinary podcast, and it's not about Taiga. You can see the title right down here. It says Mama Max keeps making things worse. It was talking largely about Mama Max and some Pal World drama and stuff like that. There was a tangent 20 minutes in where they were talking about false allegations, where Nux would bring up his mistake with false allegations, and here's what he's playing in his version of the clip.
Regret it because he you know, I don't know if it's true. He ended up coming back with some sort of response. I don't know, this guy Bungo Taiga, and I apologized to him privately that I even alleged something like that, and like because a friend told me, and I believed him. Every time this topic came up, I apologized, be it in streams or videos, as I really do try to take accountability when I screw up.
Yeah, but the problem is, right? The problem is, Nuxtaku, is like you're not making one video to focus on the situation. You're kind of like breaking it apart and like doing multiple different like subjects or so in one video. And then like the worst thing about it is like you put it like somewhere between like what, closer to like the end or so. Like at least in this video you did it at the end. You know, at least you're giving it a good section, which is fine, right? I have no problem specifically, right? But like the issue is like you can just sit down and just make a video, dog. It's not that serious, bro. Like if you want this to be like clear and cut and done, like quit tiptoeing around the situation, sit down, make a video, record yourself, and then that's it, bro. Just talk about the one thing. That's it. He doesn't want to do that? Well, if he doesn't want to do that, then stop being a fucking vagina and stop talking about it. Can move on then. Shit. Like it's pretty much simple as that, you know? if you don't want to specifically talk about it, then you know, it's just fucking. If this is what you want to do specifically, okay, then you'd be like, okay, I already talked about it, you know, then move on. That's it, okay, all right. But if it keeps fucking annoying you to the point that people are still asking you to fucking keep, you know, talking about it, right? Just fucking sit down and just make a video, bro. It's not that hard, bro. I don't really care. I don't give a fuck about his lolly takes, okay? His lolly takes are shit. He's probably like, the most casual anime fan I've ever heard. He probably doesn't even watch anime. Even if he does, he probably watches the most casual shit ever. You know? Like, look, I get it, bro. I understand. Lolly is weird. Okay. Ooh, tell me something that I don't know, okay? All right? Damn, dude. But like seriously though, like, it's a cartoon, bro. It's not that fucking deep, bro. It's not that serious, and it's been in the anime community for such a long time, you know? I know that there are some of my audiences or so, right, on YouTube, right? They are casual. There's some casual anime fans, right? But they even understand. I mean, like, yeah, of course, you know, there are some, you know, lolly is weird. I wouldn't watch it personally, but I'm not gonna tell somebody, you know, because I read a comment section or saying like, I'm not gonna tell somebody what I can't, you know, what they can like or not like, you know. And I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Like seriously, that's it, man. Like it's not that deep, man. Hey, JL. He's on the same level of a 10-year-old, a 10-year-old guy for a second. Oh god. Yeah, I just don't understand it specifically. Like if I was in Nux's situation or so, right, and I made this situation itself, and I did something bad or so, I'm just gonna sit down and just make a video talking about the situation, just talking about the Taiga situation. That's it, bro. I don't give a fuck about like, you know, the other shit, everything else, right? It's just like, bro, it's not that serious, bro. If you want your credibility back, you know, just fucking do it, man. God, I guess the money is just more worth it to you, I guess, you know, or whatever the fuck you're trying to do or so. And I just can't understand the logic specifically around it, so.
Years later, in the present day, it seems like the public narrative is, I never apologize publicly. This is...
Anyone who's trying to push that narrative is wrong. I think, though, the majority of people talking about this, in Taiga in particular, has made it clear
You think so?
he did attempt to apologize. It just wasn't done in a way that felt like it was any real accountability. You're burying it deep into a video.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like he's not taking accountability on the you know, just making a video talking about the situation. He just keeps tiptoeing. He just kind of just keeps tiptoeing around the situation itself, you know? He's like tiptoeing through a landmine. That's it, without you know, initiating a landmine in the landmine field. So I just don't get it. I just don't understand. Just do it, bro. Like, goddamn, why are you being such a vagina? God, I have more bigger balls than you. Shit, fuck.
That happened a
God
year
Lord.
and a half after the whole situation occurred. And on top of that, there's no edits to the pinned comment. It only had, you know, 100 or so likes on that pinned comment. It just didn't feel like it addressed in any sort of a significant way what happened with that comment. That definitely did have influence. Like, Nux has influence, especially back then as well, where his comment caused a lot of people to harass.
You think so? You think so? Because like he's doing it he's doing it as like a VTuber news kind of type of thing, you know? He has like different sections or so talking about different things. So wouldn't surprise me, but I'm like, come on, dude. Just make one video, bro. It's not that hard. It's not that deep, bro. Why are you being this way? Stop being a kid, bro. Like seriously. This is like literally like childish play or so. Like literally, honestly. People doing shit things for views these days. Yeah. Yeah, every apology video gets a lot of views, which is why he's mostly likely made the vid 20 minutes to increase the money he gets and shit. Man, dude. Bro, if I had to make an apology or so and it was just like 5 minutes or so, then it's just 5 minutes, bro. That's it, bro. You'll make more money with other videos. It's not that deep, man. Just might as well just bury the hatchet and, you know, lay the whole situation down and be like, just lay it to rest and be like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. It's my fault. I apologize to Tiger. So, it's my bad. I didn't mean to, do all this stuff or so. I didn't have enough information and anything like that. I will not talk about the situation anymore, but I understand that he has now cleared his name or so he's not a bad person. But I do, I do want his channel and everything back, and I'll try my best or so try to get his shit back, from YouTube and Twitter, or if anyone else can help out or so spread awareness, for the situation. So if I make an apology video, all I'm gonna say is I'm sorry. That's it. Yeah, but you want to add like more information to it though.
That's Taiga, and also people in the VTubing scene to not want to associate with Taiga. It was a pretty damaging thing to say, and yeah, it's carried true for a long time. But you did attempt to apologize, but that's not what people are angry about.
Is untrue. And it also is that I refuse to talk about this, and I'm sweeping it under the rug. This is also untrue. But
to be fair, you talked about it a year and a half after the exoneration came out, and then you started recently talking about it on Kick because Taiga was raising it once again after they were removed from YouTube and Twitter. Taiga has been obviously very upset, and I've even seen instances of things that Nux has shown that Taiga said that I think were over the top in terms of maybe not the best thing to say on Twitter before they were suspended about Nux and some other people involved. But I understand why Taiga is so upset. But on top of that,
I don't blame Taiga. I honestly don't blame Taiga. This is like bro, the man's getting harassed like consistently, bro. Leave the poor femboy alone, man. Shit. Leave the dude alone, man. He didn't do shit. He already cleared his name already. So, like, fuck off. Like, seriously. Leave him alone. Fuck. Goddamn, bro. Are you that fucking bored or so to go pick on somebody like that? Man, you guys are pretty weak sauce, in my personal opinion.
Who definitely did respond recently because there's been a lot of noise about your role in Taiga's career, right? I think that's the reason. Let's not kid ourselves. I think it's not... You didn't just choose a week ago to start talking about this again for the first time in months. It's because of all the noise recently and people also making videos about it and so on.
Also, in the wake of Taiga getting banned, people on YouTube seem to be blaming me for his...
So, I want to look at this right here. So, this is a video I watched by Royalties here. I thought it was a very good video going over the situation where, ironically, the person making this video went into it believing the allegations against Taiga, but after doing their research, much like the independent investigator, they changed their mind and realized that Taiga was innocent of these claims. And I watched the video. I think in that, I don't think he directly blames Nux. He just says, like I have, that his comments played a role in the harassment campaign. It made people go out and harass Taiga and created a lot of negativity towards Taiga.
Yeah, of course, because the boy has a pretty big platform, right? So he's an influencer, right? So you're gonna influence people with your video, right? So if people see it, and then they see that you said all this stuff or so specifically about Mr. Taiga over here, specifically talking about it, right? Without having the much information or everything like that, right? They're just gonna probably take it and go for a joyride with it,
Taiga that has continued to this day. And on top of that, this video in particular focused a lot more on the stalkers and the people trying to mass report than Nux. That's just my view of that video, but anyways, let's continue.
In the wake of Taiga getting banned, people on YouTube seem to be blaming me for his unjust ban, which is wildly untrue as well. I think Taiga believes his channel was banned due to being mass reported by people harassing him, and I think that he thinks most of that harassment is coming from me. I very much don't believe either of those two things are the case. First of all, I don't think that after 2 years of a tangential mention of Taiga, which I f***ed up, and I admit I f***ed up, and I am sorry for plus the retraction of that statement and the apologies that I've made, I don't think it's my audience harassing Taiga right now.
Okay, so again, we can argue about whether there was an actual real retraction. I mean, he took down the portion of the video. He used the edit tool on YouTube to get rid of it after some time. But the thing is, there's still re-uploads of it everywhere, right? And you can't take back what people heard. So people heard 2 years ago through your video that Taiga was a predator. And you never cleared that up. And a lot of those people who heard it, they don't go investigating it themselves. They just trust your word. And now they just have this
Remember, yeah, because remember now in this day and age, right? Everyone wants like the TLDR, the short form of everything, right? Because everyone has an attention span of a fucking dog or so, or whatever, or a squirrel or something. I don't know what the best reference or so specifically for it, but people are not. People are like the average person isn't gonna go do their investigation. They're not gonna do their investigation. They're not gonna go take a look at it, read all the documents and stuff like that, and be like, yeah, it doesn't seem very right here. It looks like Taiga is pretty innocent. While me, truly, will take a look at documents, read documents, look at videos, look at different things or so specifically, talking about it, and then coming up with conclusions and looking at some of the videos, even like the Mr. Beast or so, where people are saying like, "Oh, Jimmy knew. He saw the poster on the wall or so." I'm like, bro, if you look at if you know like basic human anatomy or so, right? For like turning around and shit like that. I'm like, in the corner of the fucking video, you can see there's like a basketball game playing, and he's looking at the TV, bro. He's not looking at the goddamn poster on the wall. So it's just like it's just people, and then like everyone's having this weird conspiracy or so. They'll be like, "Oh, he knew. Oh my god, he took it out of the video." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, bro, you can clearly see it, bro. I can see it. Hey, goddamn, dude. Like seriously, I just have. Oh, honestly, it's just people just kind of like take it like face front value. They just one person like tells somebody, and then that person tells someone else, and then it keeps spreading around or so, and they just believe their friends, because that's what Mr. Nuck said, right? He literally said, "Oh yeah, my friend told me about it, and I believe my friend and everything and all that stuff," and I'm like. Yeah, look, man, you got to do your own research for that situation itself before you decide to believe someone who tells you these things. Like I would say like, "Oh, did you guys hear about like the most recent news or so about like some VTuber has allegations or so?" Like that's pretty much about it, but nothing has been confirmed or anything, so everything's kind of like speculation. We're kind of waiting until like, they respond or something like that. That's basically how I would basically word it or so. I wouldn't say I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I believe you, man. This person seems pretty, whatever the fuck, whatever the allegations were, like I believe the allegations. Oh yeah, because you told me. So it's just, you see how bad, you see kind of how bad that is if you just believe someone who just kind of like tells you stuff like that. It's just do your own research. But I understand there's like some people that just don't do their own research. So
narrative in their head that whatever was being alleged is true, and they've never adjusted themselves. And I think this narrative going out of Taiga being these things that he was accused of was something that festered, and it continued and expanded, and it became settled. People just believed it. So I think, yes, you played a role in it, even though it was as you say, like a passing mention. It was still a very critical part of this whole situation. Nux is not solely responsible for everything, but he played a role, and that's what people like me are trying to say. And he has to recognize that what he said caused harm to Taiga's reputation in a pretty significant way that continues to this day.
And second of all, I spoke to people at YouTube about bans due to mass reporting specifically. They told me direct mass reporting channels does not get them banned under any circumstances. It may put them under a microscope to be reviewed by YouTube reviewers, and then for YouTube reviewers to decide about whether the channel should be banned or not for whatever reason, but the mass reporting does not incite the ban.
So I kind of tend to agree with what Nux is saying here. I don't think people just get banned flat out when they're mass reported. Everyone in this video right now talking has been mass reported. Me, Nux, and a lot of the other parties, okay? And any big YouTuber, no matter what you're talking about, even family-friendly channels have dedicated hate groups trying to mass report them. That's nothing new. But in this case, I think creating this narrative that Taiga is a predator based on false allegations and putting that notion out there leads to harassment, leads to people wanting to mass report Taiga, and that brings attention to Taiga's channel, where then they are unfairly treated because they are a VTuber. This whole video is talking about how YouTube is very, very draconian when it comes to applying their rules against VTubers specifically, especially if they have any sort of sexual content. He talks about this with...
Wait, does YouTube really have like a vendetta against like YouTubers? I mean, not YouTubers. I mean VTubers. Really? They have like some kind of vendetta or so against them. Goddamn, I didn't even know about that, to be honest.
Other channels who have lewder content and get suspended in cases where other channels don't. And in this case with Taiga, the mass reporting is effective if it was happening because it's bringing it to YouTube's
I did not know
attention,
about that,
and
actually.
YouTube
So
then cracks down with the hammer on channels like Taiga. So I think it is still relevant if there's mass reporting going on. It's not the sole reason, but with Taiga, it could actually lead to people looking at it and then treating him unfairly as a result.
Are a lot more cases of a lot more prominent and hated content creators that are still on YouTube, and quite frankly, maybe shouldn't be. So I saw some sussy-wussy clips of Taiga floating around, which is why I personally believe that it probably was a termination due to sexual content, especially because it lines.
yeah, but like you have like ASMR people, and then you have like the weird section of YouTube where they have like naked yoga, and then they have like they have girls like they had like some OnlyFan. I remember we saw specifically like some OnlyFan girl or so was doing like some kind of educational video or so about like a, I think like what, a swimsuit or a shirt or something like that. I don't fucking remember specifically. And then they splashed water on her, and then you can see her fucking, you can see basically everything underneath it because it was a white shirt, right? And then the other one was where that one dude, what is it? He shaved his butthole or so, and then you have breastfeeding. You have girls who do breastfeeding or so on YouTube. So there was a whole ass woman of a woman giving birth. I'm not being a friend. Showed it to me in mid class once. Please, she's full on naked. Well, if she's not in the hospital or so, that's definitely pretty weird in my personal opinion. But if she's in the hospital, it's not that crazy though. So, yeah, it's very educational needed for science classes. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, it's just like I'm like, bro, like dude, I doubt that Taiga got banned for anything like crazy, like any like, come on, dude, like for sexualness, right? For like being lewd or so or stuff like that, or anything crazy like that, I'm like, bro, it's not that crazy, man. It's dude, I don't know. I just don't believe that the ban was justified for Taiga, to be honest. I really don't.
Lines very, very well up with all these other VTubers that are literally getting ass blasted by YouTube for sexual content, like Shy Lily's clip channel. Do you know that a lot of debuts for...
So I want to correct that really quickly. So I talked about...
If I remember correctly, isn't like Shy Lily's clip channel or so, that one dude or so was getting banned or so because he was impersonating Shy Lily or something like that? Like there was no lewd shit on it, it was just like basically YouTube saying stop impersonating Shy Lily or so. But then like Shy Lily was like, no, this person's not impersonating me at YouTube or so, blah blah blah. She was basically trying to get his channel back, because if I remember that correctly, I think that's how it was or so.
The Shy Lily clip channel Pierre multiple times in videos over the past couple of weeks. He frames this in the incorrect way, but based on the context, it's still relevant to what he's trying to say. He's saying that Pierre and that Shy Lily clip channel was taken down, banned on YouTube for sexual content, when that was not the case. It was nothing to do with sexual content. It was everything to do with impersonation. They were banned specifically for the reason of impersonation. And yes, it's not relevant to the overall point about lewd content and VTubers he's making here, but it is relevant to how VTuber clip channels are also treated very unfairly. I talked about that, like I said, a couple times recently, where at the minimum, a lot of clip channels face issues with the term reused content being applied to their channel, which demonetizes them entirely. They can't make any revenue because they say this content doesn't belong to you. You can't redistribute it, but in many cases, they have the permission of the VTubers, and the VTubers want them to make ad revenue. And also, in the maximum here, we're seeing channels getting banned for impersonation because YouTube is thinking that they're trying to impersonate the VTuber they're sharing clips of. And in this case, it took multiple weeks of not only this clip channel going viral, begging for YouTube's assistance, but also Shy Lily made multiple viral tweets over this course saying they had permission to do this. And eventually, after literally having to go viral for 3 weeks straight, the channel was restored. But it was...
Jesus Christ, 3 weeks until that shit came back? Oh my god, that fucking sucks, to be honest. Holy cow, dude. I have to say that actually kind of sucks, to be honest, especially if Shy Lily had to speak up and talk about the situation or so for like almost roughly 3 weeks or so, saying, "Hey, YouTube, stop being stupid and give back the channel back," you know?
Over impersonation, not sexual content, but in the grand scheme of VTubers, yes, there's multiple reasons VTubers are being treated unfairly and multiple VTuber type accounts on YouTube.
Hololive and Niji Sanji end up getting their accounts locked for sexual content. In the VTuber agency Mythos, Apollo and Hades, 2 content creators there, each got sexual content community guideline strikes on their channels for both reasons, doing content that does already exist on YouTube, yet theirs got the strikes. Unfortunately, I think YouTube is very much dialing up its awful banning policies.
If I remember correctly, isn't the Mythos the Mythos talent part of what is it, Moist Critical's thing, right? If I remember correctly, right? I might be wrong. I might be remembering wrong or something.
Across the board, and I think VTubers are heavily caught in this crossfire.
So that was really the overall point of his video. He's going back to it now, and that point is not false. But I think when it comes to the portion about Taiga, a lot of people are going to be critical about the placement of it in the video, that this was an attempt to basically include it in a relevant topic, but push it back in the video. So as you can see, a lot of the comments are talking about YouTube censorship and not specifically Taiga. But in terms of responses, this is the most direct response about the Taiga situation we've seen from Nux, and there's a lot more.
I don't think you're gonna get anything better from him, to be honest. I think this is probably like the best you're gonna get from Nux at this point. So it's not great, but it's the best that you're gonna get, at least. You know, it's all right. You know, it's all right.
Accountability and denouncement of his former statements a little more clear, but again, there's a lot of minor details that are wrong, and it's like the basic facts of what's going on, and it's frustrating to see all these years later and multiple attempts recently, and he's still harping on certain points that are just completely untrue and like very easily disprovable. But at the end of the day, you can probably see in like the thumbnail, it says "the end?" because really this is gonna have no real end. I don't know if Nux is going to talk about this more, but the real kind of determiner of whether this is over or not, I guess, would be Taiga. You know, I can feel whatever I want to feel. This is really between Nux and Taiga, and I'm the one just kind of reporting on things to help give some clarity to people who are interested in this situation. But whether Taiga accepts this, I don't know, but eventually it's really up for them to decide, and this is the latest update on this. This is, again, the trilogy so far in the situation, and I don't know if I'll be covering this anymore because we're kind of beating a dead horse, but I wanted to give some updates because this was a significant response from Nux in regards to this situation. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yeah, you know what, that's completely, yeah. That's honestly, that's kind of like the best that you're gonna get, to be frankly honest. You're probably not gonna get anything better than this, to be frankly honest, you know. So I just kind of wanted to learn specifically about the Taiga situation, right? Because I know I watched the first video a while back, right, about it. And Rev made like what, 3 videos in total talking about the situation itself, right? So I kind of wanted to see, you know, I'm a little bit late on it, but you know what, that's fine. It's okay. I just kind of want to know, you know, because I didn't know anything about the Taiga situation of last year that happened, right? I knew nothing. I knew like jack shit all, to be frankly honest. But that's why, you know, learning a little bit more about it right now, specifically, you know, getting the backstory and what really happened and everything and all that stuff, you know. It's very interesting, to be honest. At the end of the day, right, man, just leave Taiga alone, bro. Just leave him alone. He cleared his name, man. Taiga's an innocent man, man, at the end of the day. So I just don't understand anyways. So, but anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff, and yeah, let me know what you guys think specifically on the video. And yeah, I'm gonna go collab with Taiga now. So anyways, peace.